All right, ladies and gentlemen, so with everything that has gone on this week, yes, do not mind my fur blanket that I have over my shoulders. It's getting cold at night. But everything that's going on over this past weekend has gotten me a little thrown off my game. This mock draft was supposed to come out today, so no matter what, I have to put it out today. It's been a little while since I've done a mock draft, and we got a lot of things heating up in the college basketball world. Ace Bailey is starting to figure it out. VJ Edgecombe is shooting the ball very well over his past 5 games. Cooper Flagg is still becoming the number 1 pick that everybody thought to be. I have some more takes that I want to get out about this prospect group in this draft class. So let's get into it, man. I'm really excited to do another mock draft. Also, one more thing. Do you guys like the darker one light type of vibe, or do you guys want this? Does this work better? Is this or this? This or this? This or this? I like this a little better. I like this one better. So we're going to start out pretty regular. We're going to do a mock simulation. And now with all the new moves, we're going to see where we can go with things. All right, let's just see where this goes. Lottery, let's do it real quick. Let's just see. Rockets get 14th. Kings get 12th. Spurs have 10th and 11th. The Sixers get the number 2 pick in the draft. Wow. The Wizards get number 1. Okay. Let's do it. I like this order. And before we do anything, the Wizards have the first pick. The Philadelphia 76ers have number 2. Jazz at 3. Raptors at 4. Pelicans at 5. Hornets at 6. Nets at 7. Blazers at 8. Bulls at 9. Spurs have 10 and 11. And then the Kings have the 12th pick. The Warriors have the 13th pick. And the Rockets have the 14th pick. So let's go ahead and start this mock draft really fast. Let's just do standard first round. What do I have to pick? All teams, standard. Take the no ceiling consensus. All right. Hopefully we can get started now. It's taking forever, but it's all good. All right. With the Wizards taking the first pick, you guys know who we're going to take. The best prospect in the draft in Cooper Flagg. I think he's a do-it-all type of player. The jump shot is still pretty inconsistent in my opinion, but just the relentlessness attacking to the rim, the ball handling has gotten a lot better. He's attacking closeouts pretty well. He's extremely switchable on the defensive end. You can use him as a low man to protect the rim. This is somebody who's going to be, I wouldn't say generational, but I definitely would say this is one of the better prospects we've seen in the past few years. This is somebody that can change this Washington Wizards franchise overnight, and I'm extremely excited to see their front court with Bilal, Cooper Flagg, and Alex Sarr. So this is something that I'm really excited for, and I think this is something that the Wizards can really turn their franchise around with. Now, if we can just get them a really competent lead guard, they will be set. So Cooper Flagg will be the number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft. Now, in a regular draft scenario, if the Philadelphia 76ers do jump up to the first pick, I can see them trading back just because we have a lot of guards that are mocked to be in the top 10. I mean, if we just take a look, there's Dylan Harper, Kasparas Yakuchonis, Trey Johnson, VJ Edgecombe. You can also sneak Jeremiah Fears in there to be a lead guard. So I really am concerned just for the 76ers being at the number 2 pick. But in the end of the day, you can always just take Ace Bailey, 6'10", extremely athletic, can be a really dangerous off-ball player, shoots the ball really well, and it looks like he could play really well off of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, and he'll be playing under Paul George, which is somebody that can help him. I know Paul George hasn't been playing his best basketball as of late, but I still do think that Paul George can be effective in a situation like this, just giving Ace Bailey some type of pointers and trying to develop his game a lot more. And even if Joel Embiid isn't around for much longer, you still have Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, and an Ace Bailey type of trio that you can build off of. And this is not me saying Ace Bailey is the second best player in the draft, but situationally, I think the 76ers are still going to want to bring in some talent. And since we're not trading back, I think Ace Bailey is a better fit than Dylan Harper. And I do think you've hit with your past guards in these past few drafts with Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, so I don't think Dylan Harper would be the player you would want to bring in as of right now, so I'm going to be going with Ace Bailey. I still do think that Ace Bailey can be the best scorer in this draft overall, just because of the shot making and the tough shot making that he does possess. And I think things like that don't really get brought up. Like with Ace Bailey, the things that we've been talking about the most is his handle and how he's very turnover prone and he doesn't create enough space. But I truly believe it's because of the handle. I don't think it's because of his first step. I don't think it's because of his shot making ability. And I don't think it's because of his athleticism. So the ball handling thing can always be taught. And once that gets taught, and it's been getting better since the season has gone on, I think Ace Bailey is going to be a real problem in the NBA, and I think he could be a 20-a-night type of guy. So I'm going to be going with Ace Bailey here. He's going to be the second pick in the draft to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the Utah Jazz will be selecting Dylan Harper here. And what makes it so what makes this really intriguing for me is because I think the Utah Jazz don't necessarily have a lot of players that they see as like very vital young core players. Like Cody Williams has started off a little rough to his NBA career. I'm not saying that he won't become something, but right now it has looked a little rough. Keontae George, he's very inconsistent. Walker Kessler, even though I do think that can be their big man of the future, they have been shopping him. So just things of that nature, I do believe is why the Utah Jazz could just be going for best player available and not necessarily trying to fit anything around anybody. If you get Dylan Harper and he shows he shows the NBA that he can be everything that we thought he could, now you have a building block and somebody you can build around. So with the fourth pick, now the Raptors can go a lot of different ways. And the more I watch the Raptors, the more I fall in love with Scottie Barnes' game. I think that's your building block. Even if he's not your number one option offensively, I still believe he's going to be your best player because of everything else he provides. He's an above average playmaker, very good passer, very versatile defender, whether it's on ball, whether it's on wings, bigs, or guards. He's tall, he's strong, he's lengthy, he can move in transition, he can handle the ball, has a very inconsistent jump shot, but you can't have everything, to be completely honest. And I said this about Amen Thompson, and I think the same thing is true with Scottie Barnes. He's not one of those players where he needs a jump shot to become an above average or star level player. And I think Scottie Barnes does a lot on every other side of the ball or every other aspect of the game to where he can be a superstar and be a 35% three-point shooter on 4 attempts. Now, I can take a look at the numbers and see what his three ball looks like now because I don't really look at his stats too often. I just look at what my eyes are telling me. Let me take a look. So this year he is shooting about 27% from 3 on 5 attempts. Now, when I do watch his game, it doesn't look like he's necessarily scared to shoot the 3. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If you are trying to progress him to be your star player, then him getting those type of looks up is what you would want from him. So I don't hate it. And there's definitely a bunch of different ways you can go if you're the Toronto Raptors. You can go Kasparis Giacochonis. You can get that lead guard of the future. Even if he doesn't end up being a lead guard, he could be a secondary ball handler or maybe even a third ball handler because Scottie Barnes does a lot of ball handling and Kasparis Giacochonis could play off of Scottie Barnes pretty well. I don't necessarily love Trey Johnson for the Toronto Raptors. I think Kasparis is a better off-ball player, and I think he creates better rim pressure. I think Trey Johnson is somebody that would have to play off someone that is extremely or brings a lot of gravity. But VJ Edgecombe could be another guy that could play on the perimeter, and you can get some more perimeter defense with Scottie Barnes. You can truly opt into that defensive identity that the Raptors have, especially over the past month where I think the Raptors have been one of the better defensive teams in the league. Up next, I really like Kaman Malak for them. I know maybe at 4 this may be a little rich, but in the end of the day, if I'm the Raptors, this is a really hard pick, man. I don't know. Like, my 3 that I would be leaning on at number 4 is either Kasparis Giacochonis, VJ Edgecombe, or Kaman Malak. And it's like VJ Edgecombe has been playing so much better offensively as of late, but do I really want to risk the 4th pick off of a stretch? Kasparis Giacochonis is probably going to be the best offensive talent out of the 3 of these prospects. Kaman Malak has the potential to be one of the best big defenders in the league, or one of the best defenders in the league, period. I'm very high on him. This is tough. Now, once again, when I do my mock drafts, I don't have my mock drafts written down when I come in. I want you guys to go through the process of how I'm evaluating these guys and just looking at their type of game, at their type of play, and how they fit with these teams. And I'm gonna go with Kaman Malak. I think the Raptors are truly buying into that defensive aspect, and I think Kaman Malak fits that perfectly. Duke has something that they do where they run zone and they run a switch heavy defense. And sometimes, or not even sometimes, majority of the time, you're going to see Kaman Malak getting switched on to these perimeter players. And he doesn't do a bad job, to where he's probably going to be further along as a switch defender than you would expect a rookie to be coming into the NBA. To where I'm comfortable with building my defense around him and Scotty Barnes for the future. I do see some jump shot potential in his game. I do like the fact that he is a lob threat. He can finish around the rim. He can rebound. There are a few things I do think he has trouble catching these lobs sometimes, but his hands is probably what really needs to be worked on as well. But as a defensive prospect, man, he can protect the rim. And once again, with Duke's scheme defensively, how they run a very switch heavy type of defense, he often finds himself in a matchup that should be favored to the guard or to the wing, and he ends up doing a really good job sometimes. So I think that he's going to be further along with that, and I think Kaman Malak is probably the gem of this draft, and I think the Raptors go get him at 4. Call me crazy, but in 5 years, when Kaman Malak has made an all defensive first team twice, you'll see my vision. Up next, the New Orleans Pelicans are going to go Kasparas Yakichonis. I think this is easy. I do think CJ McCollum's gone. I do think Zion Williamson is gone. I do think DeJounte Murray is gone. I think Kasparas Yakichonis can play off of Zion pretty well, and I think Zion can play off Kasparas pretty well. Where does he fit in this lineup? That's a very good question. Maybe he'll play the point, and him and Zion can share the minutes as the primary ball handler, but only time will tell. As for the Charlotte Hornets going at number 6, this pick fits like a glove. VJ Edgecombe is going to be going to the Charlotte Hornets because VJ Edgecombe is another ball handler, another guy who can attack mismatches on the perimeter, somebody who can play very well in transition. What do Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball do best together? Play in transition. He's also a very good cutter, a guard that you can actually use in the dunker spot. I've seen teams try to do that a lot more as well. So with VJ Edgecombe's vertical and his speed and his cutting ability and his finishing ability and his relentless drive to the basket, he could be used in a multitude of different ways, offensively and defensively. And I think that's what the Charlotte Hornets need. They need that type of grit and grind, dirty work guy that's going to come in, and his game isn't really going to be reflected off of the box score as much as a LaMelo's or a Brandon Miller's is. So I really like this pick for the Charlotte Hornets. Up next for the Brooklyn Nets, I'm going to go upside here. I think Trey Johnson has the potential to be one of the better scorers in this draft with his mid-range ability, with his off-ball play. He does struggle with rim pressure, so that's why I'm not moving him up any more higher on this draft. But as an off-ball player, as a mid-range scorer, as a beyond the three-point line scorer, he's also shown some chops out of the post, and he also shows to be a decent playmaker, even though he only averages about 2 assists a night. Please do not dive too deep into the assist and just watch him play make. It actually looks really good. So Trey Johnson is going to be the 7th pick here. And for the Blazers, I'm going to go Asa Newell, somebody that could play next to Donovan Clingan and be a help side rim protector. I do think he does that pretty well, and I do think he's a really good rebounder for his size. He is pretty slim, so I'm going to be going with Asa Newell here. As for the Chicago Bulls, who just traded Zach LaVine, it looks like they're going to be really diving into being a bad team now. So that's good. I don't want to go Jeremiah Fears here because that'll be a little repetitive because they still have Kobe White and they still have Josh Giddey. I would like to think that Lonzo Ball is going to be gone and Vucevic is going to be gone pretty soon. So I'm just going to go with a wing here. I'm going to go Liam McNeely. They don't have to hit a home run with the first pick. I think Liam McNeely is going to be a very serviceable player in the NBA. Can be a spot-up shooter, can attack closeouts. He's going to be injured for probably the next month or two, I believe. So hopefully he can get back by March and we can see a little bit more of his game. So that's going to be very intriguing. Up next, we have the San Antonio Spurs, who just traded for De'Aaron Fox. I would like to think that this is not updated. No, it's not, because Zach LaVine was just on the Bulls. I don't necessarily know who the Spurs go with. Pacers, Blazers, Spurs. That's where I went with that. I'm going to take Colin Murray Boyles here. I'm going to take Colin Murray Boyles. He has a lot of size. He can handle the ball. He's a very good rebounder. He's really good with his hands. Very defensive oriented prospect, can rebound, like I said, can finish around the rim through contact, and the Spurs need some size around Wemby. So I'm going to be going with Colin Murray Boyles here, and then the next pick is going to be Con Knipple for the shooting. I really like Con Knipple's shooting and how he can create with the ball in his hand, and I think that pairs up with Wemby really well. So I think they hit 2 home runs here. Now, for the Kings, this is where I'm going to go Jeremiah Fierce. I think Jeremiah Fierce can play fantastically off of Domantas Sabonis. I think Domantas Sabonis can create a lot of easy rim looks for Jeremiah Fierce, which is something I do have a struggle believing in him as a half-court scorer, just getting to the rim in one-on-one situations. But if he can attack pretty well off of a screen or off of a backdoor cut or just in transition, because the problem isn't his first step. It's just he's a little slim for his size. So I do believe that can be worked on. Up next for the Golden State Warriors, I don't know if they keep this pick or they trade it. And with the current situations in the NBA, I do think they're probably going to stay in the lottery. I do not think they're going to make the playoffs. So who's the best player available for the Golden State Warriors to take? I don't know why I'm scrolling down this late because they're definitely not going to be looking at somebody. I think Derek Quinn is the option here. Just go get some size. He can rebound the ball. He can finish through contact. He's shown some playmaking abilities, and he plays on the perimeter a lot. I don't know if I love that, but with his playmaking potential, maybe he can be somebody that can get some looks to Steph as well. So for Houston, I think another floor spacer would be of need here, but I also think Ben Seraph is just the right project to where he can go to Houston and really progress on that pick and roll ability, that ball handling ability, and that jump shot. So I think that's really good for him as well. Up next for the Orlando Magic, I may be reaching here because it looks like they're set at wing. They're at the wing. They have Isaac, KCP, Paolo, Franz. By the way, film breakdown on Paolo Banchero will be coming out tomorrow, because Paolo Banchero has really been upsetting me as of lately, because I love Paolo Banchero. You know, I love his game, but as of late, he's really been upsetting me. I don't necessarily know if we go Labyrinth Phelan here, even though I feel like he needs to be off the board pretty soon. Another guy like Noah Essengay is probably going to be off the board soon. Jaeger Demon this is probably around where he would go, maybe like late teens, early 20s. But I'm going to go with a reach, y'all. I'm going to go with a reach. That guy is going to be, as soon as I find him, he's almost there, Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf is going to be the 15th pick in this draft. And I know a lot of people are looking at Danny Wolf and they're looking at the ESPN mock drafts and they're looking at everybody's big boards, and Danny Wolf is not this high up. But I am really, 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 really high on Danny Wolf. He can put the ball on the floor like a wing. He moves like a wing. He rebounds the basketball. He shoots the basketball. And he also plays good team defense. And he's not one of these 19-year-old prospects. He's good. And he fits what the Magic need, a floor spacer. And if you have a center that plays good team defense, can rebound the ball, can shoot around a bunch of hectic team defenders and Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner and Jonathan Isaac and KCP, this works. I like this pick, man. I really like this pick. I'm really high on Danny Wolf. I'm probably going to get fried in the chat by somebody, in the comments by somebody, but who the hell cares? Up next, I'm going to be going with Jaeger Demon. And Jaeger Demon has fallen down my board a tad bit just because of me. I was a victim of falling in love with everything he's shown within his first 5 games. The playmaking was great. The ball handling was great. The jump shot was falling. And now, once we get a little bit further into the season, we start to see that he can't be an on-ball creator, a primary on-ball creator, 1. 2, my gripes with him was his athleticism and how he would be able to create against these more athletic wing defenders. And now, once he gets into the NBA, it may be a little tougher. So that's another thing. But with the Timberwolves, he's probably not going to have to create as much. I think Rob Dillingham and Anthony Edwards, Rob Dillingham, who's also been playing really good as of late, might get a film breakdown of him pretty soon as well. But with all the trade deadline stuff, I doubt it'll be this week. Jaeger Demmett can be somebody that can play off the ball, and he has a lot of shooting potential. So I believe that Jaeger Demmett is going to be somebody that really plays well with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I have him going here. Up next at 17, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm going to know because Boogie Fland's out for the year, and he really may fall. As a matter of fact, let's do it. Labyrinth Phelan's going to be in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Get another guard, somebody that can be another point of attack defender, somebody who could possibly create with the ball in his hands pretty soon. Just add on to that defense and maybe get another, have another guy that could be traded in the future. It's always tricky to pick for the Thunder. As for the Dallas Mavericks, I'm going to go Cam Jones here. Cam Jones to me is an older player, as we all know, Luka Doncic was just traded, and the Dallas Mavericks are going to need another playmaker. They're going to need another playmaker, and they're going to need another guy who can score on the perimeter. I think Cam Jones can be that from day one, given that he is 22 years old. He's not necessarily terrible at anything. I do like his rim pressure. I do like his shooting off the dribble. I do like his spot up shooting. And once again, he's older. So I think that does help when we're talking about a guy who can come in and be an impact player on day one. Cam Jones is going to be going to the Dallas Mavericks at pick 18. As for the Utah Jazz, Noah Essengate is going to go here. I really like Noah Essengate's size, his transition ability, his switch ability, but he is a guy that doesn't do anything fantastically well. But once again, I don't see anything that he's terrible at. I do see the potential as a shooter. So this could be a very good rotational player for the Jazz in the future. Starting to run through these picks just a little bit. As for the Brooklyn Nets, I'm going to go Boogie Fland here. I think Boogie Fland still does have a lot of potential with the on-ball creation ability, with the rim pressure that he does create. Now, he isn't the best finisher around the rim, but he does create pretty good rim pressure. He shows to be a really good off-the-dribble shooter and somebody that the Nets can take a swing on, and we can see how good he really is. Up next, the Indiana Pacers are going to be picking here. We don't know how sure they are on Miles Turner as of right now. And to be completely honest, I'm going to go Thomas Sorber. I think Thomas Sorber is really good, man. I think he's really good. There's a lot of things that I see in his game that just transfer to being a starting big on a contending team. And that's not me saying he's going to be an all-star. That's me saying he's going to be a starting center on a contending team, like a Daniel Gafford, like a PJ Watt, not a PJ Watt, like a Derek Lively. I think he rebounds the ball really well. I think he can get a lot of opposing centers in foul trouble just because of how physical he is and how good he is at using his physicality. We've seen a lot of starting centers opposing to him get in foul trouble because he's just so physical, and it's really hard to deal with that on a play-by-play basis. He also protects the rim really well, and he's very intriguing as a drop coverage defender, which in my opinion is going to be his main defensive position, especially since I don't believe in him as much as a switchable big, somebody that can play on the perimeter, but as a drop defender, he's really effective. His rim protection is very, very polished to where he doesn't foul in those type of situations where he's jumping and he's going straight up. His hands are just straight up to where that can still affect the shot. He's not necessarily chasing blocks, which is something that we see from a lot of young centers in the NBA. So I think he's really polished there, and I definitely think he's a really good play finisher to where Tyrese Halliburton can find him in multiple situations as I struggle to get this blanket back on top of me. But Thomas Sorber is a really good pick, and I almost had him shoot into the Atlanta Hawks, but at this point, if the Blazers are really looking to move off of Miles Turner, I may be tripping because I could be saying this and Miles Turner is just not a target to anybody, but I like Thomas Sorber here. Up next for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm going to just go with some size. I'm going to take Rasheer Fleming here. Very athletic, very switchable, can play well in transition. I think he's a really good guy that can come in and help win immediately. As for the Atlanta Hawks, I'm going to go Nick Clifford here, man. Another wing, very sizable wing. I think he stands about a 6'7". He creates for himself really well, and he finishes around the rim pretty well, and he's older. Somebody that can come in and win now. Up next for the Orlando Magic, I don't want to get them another guard, but I feel like Nolan Traore has to be off the board pretty soon. But Alex Caravan is going to be another guy here. He was like Tristan da Silva to me. He's like Tristan da Silva this year. Tristan da Silva last year was a senior who came in, played the game the right way, always took the right shots, and now he's doing pretty good with the Orlando Magic. I think Alex Carabin could do the same thing. He stands at about 6'8", 6'9", can rebound pretty well, can hit the outside shot pretty well. And once again, this is a guy that won at a very high level in college. He's stayed in college for a few years, so he's going to have that experience under his belt once he walks in. Alex Carabin's going to be the guy. Up next, I'm taking a look at some guys. I think Jace Richardson can be on the board here pretty soon. I also think Miles Bird is going to be somebody that Rocco Zikarsky is the pick here. If the Nets trade Nicholas Claxton, I think Rocco Zikarsky is a confirmed, to me, first round pick. I'm still very high on Rocco Zikarsky. I think this is Jared Allen all over again. With the way he's able to flip his hips on the perimeter and guard wings and protect the rim and recover at high speeds. I love Rocco Zikarsky's game. So we're going to go there. The Nets have another pick. They're going to go Hugo. Now, Hugo has not gotten a lot of minutes for Real Madrid as of late. But once again, as a ball handler, somebody that can potentially space the floor and play make, I think it's worth taking a swing pick in the late 20s. As for the Memphis Grizzlies, I'm going to go. Somebody has to take a flyer on Nolan Traore. Somebody does, but it won't be the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies they don't need any more POA defenders. I feel like they don't need any more bigs. Let's just get somebody for their rotation. Dink Pate, he's going to be the guy. Gotta with the 28th pick, I'm gonna take Nolan Traore for the Celtics. Yes, I am. I think right now the Celtics they could use somebody who may be able to create rim pressure at the rate that Nolan Traore can. And he's fallen very far in drafts, and I can't really say anything to defend him. You know, I'm still holding out hope that Nolan Traore is going to become a really good player. You know, but as of right now, I don't think he's shown anything to be a top 20 player, and the Celtics are going to scoop him up, and I think they'll be able to develop him pretty well. As for the Los Angeles Clippers, I think they could just go for another guy who can be a rotational piece, somebody who can probably score the ball more just to help out with this offensive game. And I think Miles Bird could be that guy to really create some rim pressure every now and then. Miles Bird is going to be on the board here, and they're going to take him there. As for the Phoenix Suns, do I want to go Ian Jackson I'm going to go Jace Richardson. There we go. That's my draft, ladies and gentlemen. That is my draft. You guys let me know what you think about some of these prospects. You know, once again, I do not do mock drafts like I used to. I think I've went about 2, maybe 3 weeks without doing a mock draft. Hopefully it hasn't been that long, but let me know what you guys think about these prospects. Once again, if you guys like this type of content, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. The more the draft starts to heat up, I'm going to be making more draft content. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.